The Sports Talk, where all opinions are heard, but not always accepted. For the fans who live and die by their teams. For the fans who stay up for those extra innings. The city where going to work isn't just another phrase. Where we live and die by the next swing of the bat. Die-hard fans hate us and love us. But feelings have never been held back. You are listening to Detroit Sports Talk with Brett and JT. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of DST, Detroit Sports Talk. His name is Brett Hebel, my name is JT Smelik, and today we're going to be diving straight into some Tigers-related stuff with the trade deadline just weeks away and yet to see any moves done by this pathetic Detroit Tigers team. Brett, what's going on here?
So we've got a couple of things. I mean, of course, they're just rumors, so nothing is for sure, but according to rumors, JD has gained interest from the Diamondbacks and the Rockies the most. And then Fulmer has gained interest from the Cubs, even though they just got Quintana. And then Justin Wilson, recent reports are saying that he could be going to Tampa Bay. Apparently those are the most legit talks out of anybody on the Tigers. So as of right now, I think Wilson will be the first to go. But you never know with this Tigers management what's going to happen.
Honestly, honestly, Brett, I got a little rant I got to go on because I'm dumbfounded by the manager and the owners and everyone all around. Al Avila, the president of this team, the one who represents us when it comes to making these trades. It is one of the most pathetic displays I have ever seen in trying to actually get a deal done. Let me take you back. 2016, the offseason, right? And I hear big fire sale, big changes are happening. You got Cameron Maybin, who has a career year for you. And then you go, all right, you're gone. You're the first one gone. You're out the door. Next up, oh wait, I just realized he just told everyone that he needs to get rid of everyone because he said by the end of next season, his team will not be over the salary cap. So now you're telling me that basically everyone knows what we're doing. I know that you can say you're a seller. That doesn't mean you tell them we need everyone gone, because then they realize, they go, why the hell am I going to give you anything extra when you're going to not even do anything with it? Because you're literally trying to get rid of everyone. So, once again, Al Avila, by opening his stupid mouth, can't seem to comprehend what it means to hold your cards to your chest, something that Dombrowski always did. You never knew what he was going to do unless you heard a rumor until it happened. When you saw all of his trades happen, they just happened. He doesn't go out there and go, pretty soon I really hope to get like one of the best players in the league. I'm going to give up a lot for it though. No, you don't do that. There's common sense when it comes to being a GM. When you go, Brett, let's say you go play poker. Do you think that you lean to the guy next to you and you go, dude, I got a full house? Do you think you do that?
I don't think so.
No, exactly. So why do you just go around telling people there's no need to divulge any more information than what has already been given to them? So now, let's go to this year where we are almost at the trade deadline and they can't even trade JV when a team is interested in him because apparently they want more. You should just be trying to get anything for him. He's going to be garbage. He's willing to leave. He has a no trade clause. He's willing to waive it to get traded, but you're like, nah, we need more than that. We deserve the best. And then Quintana gets traded, but you could have had what they got for him. Maybe a little less, but you still could have gotten something. And then you hear him opening his mouth. Al Avila literally told the media today, I see JD Martinez as like a son to me. What the hell does that mean? You let your son go. Remember Alex, your real son? He wasn't even on the team when he took over. But now you want to keep JD? He's too afraid to trade his only good his only good players. I literally can't comprehend how this guy even has a job anymore. And it's so frustrating to watch him sit there and act like he knows what he's doing when we both know he doesn't.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. First off, though, the Maybin trade I think was good because
for what?
It doesn't matter. He was going to get rid of him. I don't know what we got in return, but
Hang on,
he was a
hang on.
9.8 salary cap hit, so it doesn't matter.
But that's the thing is, it didn't matter, and then you ended up trying to make one more run at it. It's like, why not have him just stick around? Because you can get rid of him after this year.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you pick up that 9.8 salary cap hit, yes, it doesn't mean anything because it is what it is. We're not going to go anywhere this year. But then
we could have.
Maben doesn't change anything.
As much as you and me both know we wouldn't have. In Tigers fans' minds and in management eyes is, once you've said, all right, now we're not selling, we're going to try and make one more run at it. That was the deal, is if we're at 500 by the All-Star break we were going to go for it. Which means in my mind, the roster you had, you're trying to tell me could have made it. Which means you should have been making it better in the offseason, not starting by trading one player then going, never mind, we're going to try
Yeah,
now.
but the thing is with Maben, he wasn't... If we kept Maben, we would maybe have 1, maybe 2 more wins right now. He can't stay healthy. He hasn't stayed healthy this year. Yeah, he had a career last year, but look at his average now.
But
250.
Here's how I see it.
260.
He was upset about being traded from Detroit. That's just in my mind. I think...
Well, of course you're going to be upset. That's where he started.
I think if he stayed here, things would have been completely different with him. I do agree about the injury thing. But at the same time, you have the walking big man who plays... literally injured every other game, can't hit, he's doing terrible, and you got 6 more years on him, but you're not willing to get rid of him, and you're not even... I don't even think Al Avila is trying to get rid of any of these players.
Well, I think I can agree with... I don't know if he's trying to get rid of players, but at the same time, it's not easy. I'm not going to Al Avila's defense or anything like that, but at the same time, it's not easy. When you got a guy that over the last couple of years has played injured basically the whole entire season, and... this year is not hitting for average, not hitting for power, not hitting for on base or anything. He's not even fielding that well at all at first base, and he's just getting worse and worse. Now you look at that contract mixed with what he's doing now, and it's like, well, who's going to take that? Who's going to be stupid enough to take that?
But then
it's not an easy task.
Exactly. But no, wait, apparently it is, because Alex Rodriguez, he's opening his mouth going, well, I think that the Red Sox and Dave Dombrowski are going to make a major push to acquire Miguel Cabrera, all because they have the prospects for it.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's Alex Rodriguez.
I know, but hang on.
In my opinion, he's an idiot. He's not an analyst at all.
Complete dumbass. But let's not forget he's someone who's actually, he's paid to be trying to figure this stuff out. So you're telling me that there's actually someone in this world that thinks the old Miguel Cabrera that's injured all the time can't hit. He's going to open his mouth and go, I really think you could get some of their top prospects for him. That's a joke. And technically, if we're technically speaking, every team could get Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, but I mean, coming from Alex Rodriguez's standpoint, you can say whatever the hell you want. It doesn't matter.
I know he wants, but that makes him look terrible.
Of course it does, but it gets people talking, so... For him.
At the same time, if you're actually looking at the teams on paper, every team can afford to get Miguel Cabrera because anyone can get him for what we need. We need literally to get rid of the contract because I can't take 6 more years of this. I don't want him till he's 40. Jesus, I do not want.
Well, yeah, nobody does. But at the same time, when he was in his Triple Crown season, if you didn't sign him to the contract we signed him to, and you let him walk, and even if he had 2-3 more good years after that Triple Crown season, which he did. Then you would be getting trashed as Dave Dombrowski would be getting lit up for letting him go. You sign him to this contract, and it's like, you got to understand, once we sign him, you're going to get him until he's 40. And once he's in those back 5-6 years of his contract, he's not going to be what he is.
I understand that 100%, and I know that that's the risk you
run. And JV as well.
JV and Vmar. That's the risk you run, and I respect that. But here's the thing in my mind, is there comes a time with every team where it's trade time. So... let me take
and
it
we
back.
Missed it.
We missed it. We missed it by a whole season.
But the thing is, we missed it, but at the same time, we figure the stupid Tigers management has in their brain, it's like, well, these guys have done this and this and this over their career, so why can't they do it again? Well, the thing is, they're not going to do it again. They're getting older, and this roster with this manager and everything, it doesn't gel right.
And it's so frustrating because if you look back at last year, could you imagine if we sold at that trade deadline?
Right, because Cabrera was actually hitting for average.
You have Vmar or JV going for a Cy Young type season, and then you have JD once again playing his ass off. You have all these players.
Exactly, but as you said earlier that this team, they figured this team could compete. So they figured, okay, we'll give it one more shot. So we're not going to trade these guys off because in their mind it's like, oh well, if Miggy did that this year, he can do it. He can do it next year. JV, same thing.
And it really amazes me that people get paid to be ignorant. Because I'm pretty sure it's common knowledge as you get older, you're not going to be as good. And that's why I respect the Patriots game so much. The New England Patriots always seem to make the right trades at the right time, even if it is a good player. They know how to move the pieces to keep themselves relevant. The Tigers were so infatuated with Miguel Cabrera and Justin Verlander and never once crossed their minds that, hey, what if we trade these guys now? That way we're not irrelevant in the future seasons. And apparently, this season is the worst fan attendance at Comerica Park in almost a decade, which basically tells me there is no reason to keep any of these players. As much as I like Michael Fulmer and JD Martinez and all these other guys, Ian Kinsler, Jose Iglesias.
Oh yeah, I mean they're great people, great players. I love them, but
they don't even draw the crowd in. It's not even
that's the biggest excuse I've heard. The single biggest excuse. We keep them because you got to have ticket sales.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
Look, you got the team right now. You're at almost an all-time low.
Yeah.
So I can't comprehend a single reason why there's not more trades being made. I literally don't even care anymore. I want I will take a shot on a top 150 prospects.
Yeah.
Any of them.
I mean, you have to at this point because it's all about rebuilding. At least if you get rid of these contracts, you can rebuild while you have some money to sign some new guys.
You can find a diamond in the rough. You'll have more cap space. You can do multiple things.
Yeah.
But
it's time to start over. It's the end of the era. I mean, you got to get rid of these guys. Did they have great success here? Absolutely. They'll be loved here forever for what they did. And they're some of the greatest Tigers in history. And I certainly respect them for what they've done for the city. But you have to know when your time is up. You can't keep them for too long because it screws the teams over. I mean, you look at some of these teams that have kept... Look at the Phillies. They won the World Series, and they have gone downhill ever since because they kept guys like Chase Utley and Ryan Howard and Cole Hamels, and they kept all these guys way too long, and now they're screwed for years to come.
Exactly. And honestly, reality check here for all the Tigers fans is it's 100% over. It's been over. They got blasted against the Blue Jays in their opening game coming out of the All-Star break. That's embarrassing. I don't care what you did after that. I can't stand the management. The team is frustrating. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. But yet again, I have to listen to he reminds me of Jim Caldwell because he acts like he's the smartest man in the room. He goes out there and he acts like, nah, maybe we'll sell. I don't know. I really like JD. How can you say that? What in your mind at that exact time goes, I really need to make sure the media knows JD is like a son to me, unless you don't think you're going to trade him.
Yeah, I really don't get it with him. It's kind of mind-boggling to me because it's like, I would love to keep JD as much as the next guy, but we all know we're not going to be able to keep him. And if you keep him past the trade deadline, I am going to be so furious because you will get nothing for him in return. When you could have got
anything.
Yeah, at that point, I mean, if you're going to let him walk for free, you get one prospect.
Exactly.
But you could probably get 2, 3, maybe even 4 and give it a shot.
Exactly.
And trade him to a contender. The people want him. It's just us willing to let him go.
And there's a lot of things that I could see happening. There's package deals we can still make. We can eat salary even if we have to. But apparently Al Avila's too smart to do that.
We're already eating salary, right? So what's anymore? I mean, Mark Lowe eating that salary, Mike Pelfrey eating that salary, K-Rod, we're eating that salary, so why not eat some more, right?
Exactly. And then you got players like Iglesias and you got Kinsler. Those are players you can package with these other guys. Some decent players at their positions and that can hit and that can do other things. So it's... First, don't act like you can't make a trade. You have everything you need. You have good old players. You have good young players. You have the in-between people. You have people who can hit. You have people who can field. You can get a trade done if you really want to trade.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at these other teams, the teams that are successful. Why are they successful? The Rockies, the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Astros, the Cubs. Why are these teams all successful? It's because they didn't go out there and spend all of their money on these top free agents and then wait too long. No, they got prospects and worked their way up. They brought them up. They gave them time to figure it out, and look at them now. They're all great. The league is changing. all of us Tigers fans have seen in the last number of years that money doesn't buy you anything. Yeah, we made it to the World Series twice, but did we get the job done? Nope. And what do we have to show for it? That's it. We made it to 2 World Series. Well, did you win any of them? No, you didn't. So it really doesn't mean anything.
Exactly. And see, that's where I struggle to even say why keep them. Is because, great, you know what? We had a hell of a run. We got to 2 World Series. I think we all had a great time.
I mean, it's like the Red Wings. I mean, they made it to 25 straight playoffs, and it's like...
And then you got Ken Holland standing over there going, oh, you know, sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's like they made it... I mean, it's an end of an era. You're moving on. It's time to move on from that. You made it to 25 straight. Awesome. Great job. I mean, that'll be one of the greatest runs in history, arguably the greatest ever in history. But now it's time to move on. It's time to look at reality, get a reality check, and figure this out now. It's different. Same with the Tigers. We had a great run. I mean, we started in 2006, made it to the World Series. We went to the World Series 2 more times. We had some of the greatest players in baseball, arguably of all time. But now it's time to move on. We've missed our window.
It spanned 10 years. In 2006, do you think anyone thought that in 8 years they're going to still be competing? No. That's impressive. Like, learn to take what you've got.
Yeah, I mean, it's impressive. Now it's like, if you keep doing this, people are going to look back on it and be like, yeah, it was impressive, but look at the end of it. I mean, they kept him for too long, and look at the team where they're at now.
Exactly.
So if you would have got rid of them when you had the right chance to, then you would have been like, yeah, they had a great time there, great success. They moved on, and look at, they're still a contender. I mean, that's how the league works. That's how your brain should work if you're Al Avila. And it doesn't from him, and I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, like, literally, besides the Kansas City Royals, who are just screwed with their free agents this season, there's no team in your division that's going to be worse than you coming up. You don't have a chance.
Yeah, I mean, you could easily compete. I mean, yeah, the Indians and Twins are competing for the first place spot, but even I think the Tigers were realistically not even that far back. We're not going to catch them at all. But I'm saying if we were contenders, we could compete with that. This is one of the worst. Like, the AL Central is one of the worst divisions in baseball, and we still can't do anything.
And then you have the struggling Cubs, who are embarrassing right now. Like, they are
defending World Series champs.
And they have young players, all young talents. It's not like this is a veteran team that's going to fall off. They should all be still competing. And now they're worried about if they're even going to make the playoffs. Well, why aren't the Tigers trying to move quickly to get a trade? Why aren't you just trying to get something to them? Be like, here, listen, you guys need JV. We can get you JV. We're not going to ask for too much. A solid return is all we want. We're not asking for your best prospect. We're not asking for 3-4 guys. We'll eat some of the salary for you. Why isn't any of those trades happening?
Yeah, and at least for from a Cubs standpoint, I mean, at least if they don't, let's say they don't make the playoffs this year, yeah, it sucks, but you've already won a World Series, and these guys are young, so they're only getting better as they move on. For the Tigers, it's the exact opposite. Now, let's say the Tigers made the playoffs this year. It doesn't matter because next year you're going to be worse. These guys get another year older, more injuries hit, and it's not going to work out.
I honestly don't even know where to go anymore with this Tigers team. I mean, I don't want to talk about them, but I was so annoyed when I got in my car. When I got out of class today, I got in my car, and the opening thing I hear is, oh, Al Avila really likes JD. I'm like, nuh-uh. He's gone, dude. Yeah, Stop it.
It's so frustrating because, I mean, you could listen to us, and we could do a better job than what Al Avila is doing right now. And it's so frustrating because in a couple of weeks, the trade deadline's July 31st? Yep. If we don't see at least 2 or 3 of these guys moved, I'm going to be extremely, extremely frustrated. I do think we'll see JD move, and I think we'll see Justin Wilson move. But anybody else, I'm really not that sure.
No. I can see Wilson being moved. I can't see JD anymore. I feel like we're just in my mind.
I think just the way my mind works, like I can see where you're coming from 100% that we don't trade JD. But in my mind, I'm thinking if we don't trade JD, I'm going to lose it because I don't know what I'm going to do. You're going to be stuck with him for the half of the season, and everybody in the world knows he's not coming back.
Mentally, I cannot handle not trading any of these players because I literally can't even sit through a Tigers game anymore. Yeah. I'm so beyond
it's so hard to do.
Interested in that team. And another half season of terrible. What are you doing? Why are you even playing?
Right, and I mean, you think the ticket sales are bad now. If you keep these guys, watch them drop even more.
Yeah. But we got to move on. You know, I know it's very frustrating thinking about the future with this team. But I have some questions for you. Detroit Pistons. Avery Bradley, he's coming. The culture's changed a little bit. Things are looking up a little more. My question for you is Stan on the hot seat this year?
I honestly...
But hang on. If he is on the hot seat, I need to know, what does he have to do to keep his job? What is your goal for this season? And if it's not met, is Stan fired?
Honestly, I thought, this is kind of crazy, but I've always been a believer in Stan Van Gundy since he's been here. I felt if we didn't make any significant moves in the offseason, which I didn't think was going to happen, and we played poorly throughout the first half and weren't able to trade a Drummond or a Jackson, I figured that we'd probably, and we missed the playoffs, let's say, I figured he would be on the hot seat, but he would stay.
Yes.
But he's made the move. He got rid of KCP, didn't have to sign him, and he got Avery Bradley in return, which is outstanding.
Yes.
And so honestly, I think, and we signed Langston Galloway. We drafted Luke Kennard. We signed a couple other guys. We signed Reggie Bullock back. We got Anthony Tolliver.
AT.
And so I think with these moves, he from my perspective, Stan Van Gundy understands how to adapt with the league.
Yes.
He saw the team didn't work last year. They were, dead last in three-point shooting? Or pretty damn close. But so he's made the moves from there. He got Galloway. He got Kennard. Those guys can shoot. Bradley can shoot better than KCP. He can play good defense. And Reggie Jackson is supposedly supposed to be healthy this year. Drummond hopefully can bounce back from that season. So I think as of now he's not on the hot seat. Definitely not. It will be interesting to see how the first half goes. I think if we could do well in the first half, if Drummond regains his form from 2 years ago, if Jackson can play halfway decent, I think it'll be pretty interesting. But if not, I think we need to trade at least one of those two guys and go from there.
All right, so you're telling me that as of right now, you don't see him on the hot seat?
No, absolutely not. I think he's been great for this team.
I 100% agree with you. I was so proud of him when he made that Avery Bradley trade, because you know what he did? He didn't go to the media and go, well, I'm shopping KCP, everyone.
And the thing is, he is the exact opposite of what Al Avila did, like you just said. Because the Celtics, Stan Van Gundy saw that the Celtics were basically Al Avila. They made it clear that they didn't have enough money to sign Gordon Hayward, so they had to move either Crowder, Smart, or Bradley. Exactly. So what Van Gundy did is he took advantage of that.
Exactly.
And where the MLB comes into play with Al Avila's the Celtics. He's telling everybody he wants to get rid of these guys, and all these people are going to go and take advantage of him and give him basically nothing. They got Morris in exchange for that, but if you look at Morris compared to Bradley, I'll take Bradley all day.
All day. See, that's what I like about Van Gundy is I don't need a statement about what you're doing. Van Gundy all year. Okay, here's the difference. Is we have two completely different sides. You have Al Avila. Oh, by next season we're not over the salary cap. And then you have Van Gundy, who won't tell you if he's going to sell or if he's going to buy. He legit said, I don't know. I like this group of guys. We'll see what I do. If I can find a trade, we'll find a trade. That's what I like.
Yeah.
And I gave him major props for that. And so you know what? Van Gundy, in my mind, he's got 2 more years. And that's before I need anything. This season, I want to see playoffs, but I'm happy with where we're going and where this team is going.
Yeah, and I can compare Van Gundy to Dombrowski almost a little bit. I mean, he's made Dombrowski was a lot of like flashy moves, but at the same time, Van Gundy's made a lot of kind of under-the-radar moves. I mean, he got Tobias Harris, which I'm sure a lot of people didn't know about. I knew a little bit about him, but not very much. I didn't know what kind of player he was.
Yeah.
But he's turned out, I mean, last year he was the best player on the team, in my opinion.
Yes.
And he got rid of KCP. He didn't have to sign him. He ended up getting Bradley in return. Perfect, in my opinion. He got Jackson for an aging career backup point guard in DJ Augustine, and then garbage Kyle Zingler, who just takes a spot up on the bench.
Exactly.
And he went out there, and who else did he get? He got he drafted Stanley Johnson. Let's see, he signed John Lure and Ish Smith. Ish Smith looks to be a great signing, in my opinion.
That is such an underrated signing. Lure and Ish Smith, no one gave him any credit for that. And then as soon as Ish Smith starts producing, no one cared. No one gave a damn that he did that. And that was an impressive move. And any GM that did that is very impressive.
And I mean, he got Morris and Bullock for basically nothing because the Suns needed to get rid of salary cap because they wanted to make a run at LeBron James. And Morris ended up being a starter, ended up being a pretty big part of this team the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I mean, he got, let's see, he made a couple other, but he got rid of an aging Brandon Jennings, who was coming off an injury. Everybody was mad about.
Terrible ever since.
Everybody was mad about that. It's like, oh, how can you get rid of him? He played great for us. But the thing is, you look at his career numbers and coming off an injury.
Van Gundy's a Patriot. He knows when it's time.
He understands it. He makes under the radar moves of guys that are low key. People don't know about him. It's like this guy he does the little things right, but people don't notice it because he's not big and flashy.
Exactly.
Ersan Ilyasova, I mean, he upped our 3-point game.
Player.
Was a solid defender. I mean,
yes.
he was good for us, and he ended up flipping him for a great player in return. So it's
that's how you do it. Is you like him, but you know what? He's got to go, and that's what I love about Van Gundy.
You go and take advantage of other teams that want to dump these players that are still good, and then you ended up getting them, make them work on your team, and when it's time to go and get somebody better, that's what you trade them.
Exactly. And see, that's where fans, they need to... I'm so sick of fans that think they know everything. You know what? Get off of Van Gundy for one moment. You go take care of that guy that's at Comerica Park that seems to think he's the next coming of Dave Dombrowski, and you fire him, and then like years after that, then you can think about Van Gundy, because he's done so much more. Name one Van Gundy trade that was just terrible. You got nothing.
Really can't. And
exactly.
The only thing people will say is the Drummond contract or the Jackson contract. And you can't say that because if you don't sign Drummond and let him go and he does good, then you look like an idiot.
And you heard no one bashing Reggie Jackson after those playoffs.
Right, exactly. So some of these Detroit sports fans really baffle me when the way they come out here. They don't even think before they talk. They say Van Gundy needs to go, and we can't trade JD, we can't trade Fulmer. It's like, are you out of your mind to even look at sports? Thank God you're not a GM, because you'd be worse than anybody we already have.
And it's amazing because Van Gundy, as we both agreed, I can't see a trade or a signing that didn't help me in some way. They went out and got Pelfrey. Terrible signing. Oh my God. Wow, that was terrible. Didn't help us one bit. I liked Pelfrey, but he didn't help my team at all. You got Lowe. What a disgusting player that was.
Yep.
And they're both gone for nothing. So you're telling me you're willing to do that and not bash him 24/7, but Van Gundy, after missing the playoffs, is all of a sudden your public enemy number one? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and it's the fans that do this. I mean, the fans, I don't understand how that brain works, because it's like you can't even at least consider, like, for example, there's people have been talking about, would you trade Fulmer for 3-4 top 100 prospects, and people say, how can you trade Michael Fulmer? He's the future of this team. And as much as I agree with that statement, at the same time, if you're getting 3 or 4 guys in return that can help you every day versus one guy that's going to help you once every 5 days and help you get a win. And that's only saying the offense does their job, because we've already seen it multiple times where Fulmer has put up a 0 or a 1 and got a loss. So at the same time, if you're going to get those guys in return and you're going to trade only Fulmer, it's definitely should be considered. And people go out there and say, no, you can't even consider that. That's odd. That's insane to me. I don't even understand how that works.
Exactly. You go and tell the Patriots, no, don't trade this young guy. He's going to be good one day. No, you do it if you think you can get better. Yeah. If your team all around can get better. You know what? Matthew Stafford, right? Super highly paid, right?
Yep.
If you had
going to be anyways.
Yes. If you had the chance to trade him and get a ton of better talent overall around your team, and they're going to be better all around instead of just in one area, you do it. You make those trades.
Yeah.
You might not be better in that department, but in the long run, your team as a whole is a better team.
And that's how you got to look at it. And so many people don't look at it like that, and I don't understand why, because you've seen it across every sport, across almost a lot of the good teams. You've seen it across those teams, a lot of the good GMs, and you should be looking at them and basically looking at how they're doing it, and you should be almost doing the exact same thing. And you don't.
See, teams want to be like, why aren't we like the Astros? Why aren't we like all these other teams? All right, you want to be like the other teams? Here's what you got to do here's your young guy in Fulmer. If he has to be gone, he has to be gone.
I mean, it's spelled out there, right? Exactly. It's spelled out there for you, and you still can't figure it out. I mean, JD, look at him. He got released from, at the time, the Houston Astros were one of the worst teams in baseball. JD was terrible, and he got released, and he said, what am I going to do? I'm going to sit down, I'm going to look at Miguel Cabrera's swing, and I'm going to counter my swing after what he does. And what did he do? He did exactly that. He asked the Astros, hey, give me one more shot. I did this, and this. I modeled my swing after Cabrera. Give me one more shot. And they said no. And what did the Tigers do? Yeah, we'll give you a shot. Why not? And look at him. He's great. That's what you got to do. You got to adapt to the situation.
Exactly.
And, I mean, from a Velo standpoint, not even close.
Yeah, and I can't believe we're already back at this topic, but it's the question of the day is, why is he around? And honestly, the JD Martinez thing I do agree on, but like, when you see someone like Van Gundy who just gets all these moves done, then you glance over at this guy who can't get anything done if his life depended on it. It's really interesting to see the difference, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's two different sports. Obviously, big NBA and MLB are very different, but at the same time, you can still kind of model your mindset after what they do and
tactics.
Yeah, and that's what Avila should be doing with Van Gundy, and not happening whatsoever. And like you said, I don't know why he's still here. If him and Osmus aren't gone after this season, I mean, I hate to say I'm going to stop watching Tigers games because I love baseball. Baseball is arguably my favorite sport. I love watching Tigers baseball. It doesn't get better than that. But it's really going to be coming close to that. Like, it's already almost unwatchable. And to see them two stay for next year, I don't know how I'm going to deal with it.
The only one that I think is worse than Al Avila is Ken Holland. Just because of the...
But at least Ken Holland has a record of success.
See, I'm just talking about as of right now.
Yeah.
I would still take him over Avila.
Oh, yeah,
Avila's
for
just
sure.
disgusting. But like the comments like Ken Holland makes about less is more, and that those arrogant things, those annoy me. But like, I mean, we have one out of all. Okay, we have two GMs in all four teams that I think should even be on the teams or be a part.
And Bob Quinn, if you're talking about the second one, was only recent.
Yeah.
So
I mean, up until then, we had three that were terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for Bob Quinn and Van Gundy.
And people still find a way to trash Bob Quinn, which, again, I don't understand it. I don't know what more you want. So
yeah, I mean, you act like you're like a Boston team, and like the Bruins are like top notch, and you're telling the Celtics, hey, get up here. No, you're literally acting like the Lions and the Pistons are worse than the Red Wings and the Tigers, and it's so not true at this point. Stop comparing them like they're all terrible, because two have pretty smart GMs, and two who shouldn't be around anymore.
Yeah, and the Detroit fans, it's like some of you, there's very few of you that understand it how we understand it. But a lot of you just, you all try to be your own GM and make things work. And the things you suggest make zero sense at all. And that's why you're part of the reason why these teams aren't going to do any good.
Exactly. But you know what? There's not much going on in sports today. There's not much going on overall until the Tigers can make a dumb move or something, or try to sign a free agent to a big contract. We got nothing left to talk about. That has been all for another episode of DST. We have hit episode 7. It has been over a month, and we've had a great time doing it. Signing off for today, my name is JT Smellick.
And my name is Brett Hebel.
See you guys next time.